Welcome back to another episode of Circling Back with Neil McClendon. This is where the context where we go back to previous sermons and things that were unclear or people sent me questions about. Thank you for doing that. I asked Neil these questions. Apparently he follows me wherever we go in this setting. You'll be the judge of that. I'm your host, Blake Hardcastle. I'm the equipping pastor at Grand Parkway, and Neil has been the lead pastor since 2006. And I'm not great at math, but I think that's getting around 30 years.
Since I had hair.
Since you had hair.
I was a ravishing brunette when I started here.
Oh, ravishing.
These people are ravishing. That's my word.
That was on your conference speaker description?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got biopics to prove it.
Okay. So church will make you lose your hair sometimes. Church people.
Yeah. Loving people is not convenient.
That's right. Okay.
Actually, preaching the gospel and pastoring people is, I mean, you after a while, if you do it well, it's hard to not feel what people feel. Mm-hmm. And so you got to haul off some of that darkness on your back that they walked in with on them.
It's supposed to take a toll on your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to, we're in Matthew, and all these questions today will be from part of Matthew 6.
All right.
So part of the Sermon on the Mount. And so I'll start with the first one. This is from the beginning of January, Matthew 6, 1-4. This is a sermon about practicing righteousness. And so this is one of the things you said is that heaven will not be what it could have been.
Yes.
And I made a little note, and then 3 people said, would you ask him about that? I'm like, okay, people, I'm with you. And so what do you have in mind when you say, look, it won't be what it could have been for some of you?
Yeah, it's where Jesus says, hey, you'll have no reward from your Father who's in heaven. Now, I think a couple things there. He says you'll have no reward. The reward for doing the right thing the right way is not just we don't have to wait till we get to heaven to experience it. And so I think it cuts both in this life and in the one to come. Because it's like Jesus demonstrates it. We don't really point to it because we're kind of in the parable of the Minas or Minas, whatever. Because one got 1, one got 3, one got 5. Yep. And the guy that 3 and the 5, they doubled their money. And Jesus said, "Well done, 5. You get 10. You'll be over 10 cities." And and so it's well done now. And here's 5 more. I mean, you did this. Well, you're going to be over 10 cities, and you're going to have more responsibility. The guy that had 1's like, I was afraid. You're a harsh man, gathering where you didn't sow. And Jesus says, "Shame on you. Give me that thing." And he gives it to the guy who's crushing it. We don't do that. We look to the guy that's going to go, "Oh, let's get you. Oh, you have anxiety? I know a good counselor, and we'll pay for it. 10 sessions." And Jesus is like, "No, bro. You're not doing it." And so there's acknowledgement and reward. It's both this life and the one to come. Because when Jesus talks about giving to the needy, he says, hey, if you sound a trumpet, you've got your reward. Translation, and this is where I was coming from, you've got your reward. So there will be no reward in heaven. And because there will not be reward in heaven, heaven for you will not be what it could have been. And now again, reward is not our motivation. It is our understanding.
Okay. And so part of the reward you're speaking of is I want attaboy, praise, affirmation, comfort. What do you say something else?
I think I'm not comfortable saying what the reward is because whatever we say it is for me, it's probably limiting compared to what God has in mind. Okay. And so that's why I don't even think about it. Okay. And people said to me, gosh, I was talking to so-and-so that you really helped them and you helped them get this and that and blah, blah, blah. Man, you God's going to reward that. Okay. I don't think about it. Because again, I think my biggest definition would be God's smallest.
How can someone assess, am I living like a 1, 3, or a 5 right now? How can they become aware of that?
What am I allowing fear to keep me from doing?
Okay.
You're a harsh man. So and Jesus said, well, you should at least put it in the bank, got me some interest. Yeah. Not only is he a harsh man, but he's a good businessman. And Jesus is, I love this show. It's about the 2 guys called Wheeler Dealers. They buy these guys in England, they buy these cars, and one of them's a mechanic, and the fat guy's kind of the, hey, I got this thing for, 2,500 quid, and the mechanic guy looks like a model. He can fix anything, But Jesus is like, hey, man, come on. What are you doing? Is this any way to live? Put something out there. Put your embrace risk, and get out there and plunge on something, bro. But it's like, no, I wrapped it up in my grandma's doily and put it between my mattresses. And Jesus, he doesn't say this, but he says, it's shame on you. Yeah. I am, give me that. And he gives it to the guy who's got 10. So, and he says, to the one that has more, he'll be given even more. We don't operate that way in the American church. We want to practice socialism. Everybody gets the same thing.
Equality.
Yes, very fun, positive. Very fun, positive life. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets the same thing. Score doesn't matter. If the score doesn't matter in God's economy,
Mhm.
why does Jesus say what he says in that parable?
Mm-hmm. So heaven won't be what it could have been, and part of it's because earth isn't what you're not letting it be what it could have been.
That's exactly right. You didn't bring the kingdom of heaven to bear on your life here on the earth, just on people and
Yeah.
culture. And so your life you lived on here won't be brought to bear on your status in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's Proverbs, roll a stone and be hit with it.
Yeah.
Whatever measure you measure,
Yep.
it'll be measured
Yep.
unto you.
Yep. And what we'll miss out on is the specifics of what to do. That's up to the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
That's unique to the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not a card you can play. No one can tell me. That's be listening.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because Jesus, if you look, he says, 3 times there, when you
Mhm.
give alms, when you pray, when you
Mhm.
fast. And every one of them are cautioned against, hey, doing this to
Mhm.
be seen by others. You don't stand on the street corner.
Yeah.
You don't sound a trumpet.
Yeah.
I'm now going to give somebody some money because they're struggling. No, I mean, because he says if you do, and most of it in America is that.
Mm-hmm.
People know. And we
Mhm.
want people to know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being at something and they made a big deal. This guy had him up there in front of everybody and
Mm-hmm.
he had a check he wanted to present and they were taking pictures. It was check $1,500. I wish I had a gun. I was trying to shoot him. Just sit down. All this fanfare for $1,500.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And I was thinking like $5 million or something.
Right.
And these other people are just kind of, other bozos are going along. It's like a clown car up on the
Yeah.
stage at this charity thing. I was like, golly, that y'all, this man has this much fanfare to write a check for $1,500. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong world.
And so the false motivation, don't when you give, when you pray, when you fast, but also that's not a pass of, well, I don't want to do it the wrong way, so I'm going to not do
I'm not
it
doing
yet.
it all. Yeah.
And so you can know for sure you're in the one camp. You need to get
I'll
that.
say we can consume anything upon our lust.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I mean, I don't want to do it the wrong way. The best way to guarantee I don't do it the wrong way is do nothing.
Mhm.
Okay. Roll with that. Let me know how that goes.
Which is
for you.
exactly the parable.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to mess it up, so how about I don't do
Thank
anything?
you. Here's your one minute.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Right.
I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah. Can we mess up the kingdom?
No, it's indestructible. I say it like this: Jesus let little kids play with the kingdom. You're not gonna scratch it or dent
Yeah.
it or anything. But if you ever start experiencing life in the kingdom, you'll never go back. You just won't. You'll behavior modification,
Mhm.
guilt, manipulation, shame, all that stuff will just be. It just like it
Mhm.
doesn't even appeal to you. And the more you walk in the kingdom, the more you'll be militantly against all that
Yeah.
stuff.
There's a song you sent me a couple years ago, "Wild and Free,"
Yes.
that I think encapsulates
Yes.
with this thing. It's not a hymn in the hymnal you got in front of
No.
you, but
Baptist Hymnal 1975. I'm pulling that out on you later.
Okay.
Club you like a pup seal.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. Well, let's go to my second question here, and this is from the same sermon. And you said this. You said, "Let the fact that God knows be enough." And so my follow-up question is, why is it hard for giving to be done in secret? Why is it hard for serving to be done in secret?
I think because we love notoriety, we love stroke, we love the praise of men, we love acclaim. Basically, here's my concern: our flesh plays a bigger role than the spirit
Okay.
in these good things that we do.
Yeah.
And that's the part A. Part B is we've sown a grown custom to that.
Yeah.
We just act like this is the norm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's churches you can go to and they have little gold plaques screwed down to the windowsill that
Right.
tells you the family that gave this stained glass or this pew donated by. And I think the same thing all the time. Well, good. Hope you enjoyed your reward.
Yeah.
Heaven for this person will not be what it could have been.
And so you use the word flesh. The Bible says plenty about walking in the spirit versus walking in the flesh.
Yes.
And I like, when you make me think, sometimes I wonder if you think, oh, walking in the flesh, that's like all these obvious debaucherous sins.
No.
But it really could be, oh, I'm serving in my flesh.
Yes. I'm doing the right thing for the wrong reasons
Mm-hmm.
because I'll do anything to get my needs met,
Mm-hmm.
to get that acclaim, that
Yep.
praise, that whatever. And if I've got to do this noble thing, but I'll also make sure that I'm in the picture.
Mhm.
Again, good luck. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah. People listening who their preference is to stay in the background,
Yeah.
are they in danger of violating this, or is there something else they're in danger of?
I think the ability to be anonymous is the greatest revealer of your true motives.
Okay.
Because if nobody knows,
Mm-hmm.
then it just slowly chokes off the oxygen of all these impure, improper motives.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows,
Mm-hmm.
and just be in the background. And I think it's a Psalm 84, 84th Psalm, like verse 10 or 11, a day in your courts is better than 10,000 elsewhere.
Yes.
And then he says this, I would rather be a doorkeeper
Mhm.
in the house of my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Because he may give you the opportunity to be the doorkeeper, just
Mhm.
be the person that no one notices you until you don't do your job. It's like being an offensive lineman in NFL,
Right.
holding,
Yeah.
on number 62. No one notices you until then. All these
Right.
great, but it sounds great. But even in that psalm, better is one day
Yeah.
in your courts than 1,000
Mhm.
elsewhere. That person that believes that also believes that this is doable and great. Better to be a doorkeeper than in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness.
Yeah.
When people are dwelling in the tents of wickedness, you're not jealous. You're just like, I'm so content.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't even move the needle for me
Yeah.
at all.
This relates to the New Testament where the church is described as a body with many parts, and they have different functions. And
Yes.
the ones that are, some version of the hey, look at me function.
Mm-hmm.
Like Paul says, don't fall over yourself about those.
Yeah.
Those are not the
No.
super duper.
No, I think it's harder for those people. Like there's people who show up every Sunday and they volunteer back in the I call it the control booth back there.
Yeah.
Backstage, no one sees them.
Right.
They're switching. They're doing screens.
There's not a window. There's not fresh air.
No.
Yeah.
They're back there. Hopefully, they don't run out of oxygen if I go long. And so, those people's job is just as important as mine and anybody else's. And things happen because those people do that job.
And the only time I'm remembered that they're back there
Is when they mess up.
when something is
Wait. We're
half second wrong,
We're 2
yeah.
lines behind. What?
like
I don't know
who's
this song.
back there. Yeah. Otherwise, if it's seamless and perfect and beautiful,
You just assume.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It's supposed to be this way.
Yeah. How can someone grow in trusting God with, okay, God, there's things only you know. How can someone grow in that area?
How can they grow in trusting God?
Well, no, there's something about, look, let the fact that God knows be enough. How can someone, okay, I want to really grow in it. I want that to become a bigger part of how I view myself in Him.
Yeah. Well, here's what we don't say in church enough. We say, I want to grow in trusting God.
Mhm.
Great. But we should preface that by saying, hey, the first casualty is your ability to trust in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you still want to trust in God? Because the way you grow in trusting in God is it's John 3:30. He must increase and I must decrease.
Yeah.
You got to stop trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody likes to quote Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your
Mhm.
heart. And what's the next line?
And
lean not.
be not on your own understanding.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah. And so there's always is a displacing element to
Yeah.
I want to trust God. It's like the fat guy that jumps off the blob at camp
Mhm.
and shoots the 7th grade
Yeah.
kid 60 feet in the air. And so we should say that's a very traumatic thing
Mm-hmm.
because God's going to slowly begin to strip you of your ability to
Mhm.
trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people that really are thinking are like, no, wait a minute. Can I have 5 minutes to just
Mhm.
attend my own funeral of trust? Because I love trusting myself. But yeah, trust God.
Yeah.
Okay. That always means the inverse. It's an inverse relationship and a reciprocal relationship. You want to grow in trusting God. Okay. You have to grow in not trusting yourself so
Mhm.
much. And so that's why I say the first step in trusting God is not trusting yourself. And this is hard for self-made,
Mhm.
self-promoting, self-reliant people.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
And people that can't, I mean, yesterday when Ross King stood up and said, yeah, I would take barely,
Right.
was talking about getting closer to God. I would take barely making it into heaven if I could have my wife back.
Mm-hmm.
You that's honest.
Yes.
And it's that kind of same honesty and authenticity that comes with trusting God. Okay, well, you're not going to be able to trust yourself and your stuff as much.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the Puritans maybe is quoted this that God has sometimes His mercies are severe,
Oh, yeah.
and I've heard you use that phrase. I think it's from John Owen that you need to be putting your sin to death in you.
Yeah.
Is this relate to what you're saying here? That
Yeah, you got to be killing sin or sin will be killing you.
Mhm.
If you don't have an adversarial relationship with sin,
Yeah.
sanctification will be gradual, if at all.
Okay.
because sin is just always killing you. It's always increasing in its capacity to kill you, and its desire to kill you has never changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how I talk to young people, which is, people younger than me, which is a lot of people now. I just, but one asked me a while back, he said, what's the difference in you and me, just how we think? And I said, you think sin still holds that promise. He's 23.
Mm-hmm.
You still think sin's going to meet it. He waited me. I said, do you think sin's going to meet a need in you? And anytime I'm tempted or something, the first thing I think is, oh, man, the enemy's committed to destroying me.
Mm-hmm.
Just this past week, it came out. The vice president of Acts 29 has had a 20-year affair.
Just when you think we found them all.
Yeah.
Just when you think they all got discovered.
Because again, and I'm not piling on that guy. I don't know him.
Right.
I'm just saying. And before him, there was some megachurch pastor in Indiana found some tapes of him and his wife. I'm like, what are we doing here? Again, sin is constantly increasing in its capacity to destroy you, because it is going. That's all. It exists to do just that. James 1. Yep. Your desire, it starts with desire, it ends in death. You got to look at your desires through the lens of death, because sin, when it's fully grown, gives birth to death. There's dormant sin in people right now that is not fully grown yet. It's kind of like playing basketball with your dad. I can almost beat him. I'm 14. Well, there comes a point you beat your dad, and then it's like, he ain't ever beat me again. Sin's that way.
Yeah.
Because your son doesn't stop developing in the 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. He gets a little stronger, gets a little muscle tone. He can jump higher.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, you can't beat him, Dad. Yeah. You're not accommodating. You're enduring. And that yappy little kid of yours was talking last night. Sin is that yappy little kid. It is always growing in its capacity. And it's just, this happened in Acts 29. What do you think? I just quoted James. And sin, when it's fully grown. That's its goal. The wages of sin is death.
And this relates to the Minas, the 5-3-1, that, look, part of what's been entrusted to you is to live a life devoted to pleasing God.
Yes.
Not pleasing yourself.
Yes. And the way you please God is you trust God. It pleases you when your children trust you.
Oh, yeah.
It pleases me when my children trust me and don't question me like, hey, Dad, you said, are you still going to be able to do that on Thursday? And I just look at him and go, what am I thinking right now? You don't like to repeat yourself. Okay. And I'm not trying to be a jerk or Rambo in parenting here. I'm just trying to get my children to know, hey, you can trust me. Today I was moving something in my office, a little frame Madison gave me, and it's about 2 inches. It's just a glass little box. And she put in there all the ticket stubs from all the movies we saw. Because she would come in my room at 9:30, 9:45. Hey, Dad. And Marcy and I would lay in bed talking or watching TV, and she's like, hey, Dad, there's a 10:15 showing of blah, blah, blah. You want to go? Absolutely.
Not on Netflix in your living room.
No. At the theater. But I didn't notice this. She gave me it for Christmas in 2016. She had written on the edge of the little frame box, Dad, thank you for always being my sure thing. And I'm just like, oh, God. I read that 15 minutes before I walked in here, and I was like, that's why I was a little bit late. I got a little misty here. Because God wants us to have the same posture. We should read the Bible and write in our journal, oh, Heavenly Father, thank you for being my sure thing.
That's right.
I transfer that on to other people because I want them to do it, but they're so unreliable.
Yeah.
They're just unreliable.
Yeah. In the following week, we moved to Matthew 6, 5-15, and this was how to pray big and free.
Yeah.
And so
have you heard any big and free prayers lately? Lord, bless the gift of the giver, hide the pastor behind the cross, with the sick and the infirmed. Yeah,
there is the standard, like, yawn.
Yeah. And tragically, that's kind of the norm in church.
I have heard some, and sometimes the bigger and freer, I'm like, hold on a second. Let's not set ourselves up for disappointment. And I find, like, wait, what's happening in me? Why would I think that?
Dial it back, people.
And this probably relates to our first question here. And so you asked this. You said, do you ever sound like an orphan when you pray? I wrote that. We got to talk about this. So how do orphans pray as opposed to beloved children?
An orphan, this is a big generalized statement. An orphan, everything they pray, it's basically saying to God, okay, well, you said this, you'd never leave me nor forsake me, but we'll see. Give it time, and you'll probably turn out like everybody else. The prayers of an orphan or really asking God, not asking, we're kind of insisting that God prove himself.
Okay.
I need you to, but a beloved child takes the father at his word and calls him Abba. The beloved child, this is where my hymnal comes in.
Yeah.
I had to check myself. Let me see if it's still in here. The beloved child sings this and is giddy about it. Let me get my magic glasses here. Because the orphan hears this and is like, I don't know about that. The beloved child, here's what it says. 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise, just to know, thus saith the Lord. Here's another verse. Yes, 'tis sweet to trust in Jesus, just from sin and self to cease. Hear that again.
Yeah.
Just from sin and self to cease. Sin and self are in the same category in the hymnal, which is great. Just from Jesus, simply taking life and rest and joy and peace. And then when you recover from that, it drops this on you. I'm so glad I learned to trust him. Precious Jesus, Savior, friend, and I know that he is with me, will be with me to the end. And then it gets to the chorus where it says, Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I've proved him o'er and o'er. I've proved him. The orphan says, you got to prove to me. No, I've proved him over and over is o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more. This is why I keep a hymnal close to me at all times. Because sometimes, yesterday Ross and I were talking, I said, music just sometimes says it better. Things that are too heavy for the English language, music says it better. Like just from sin and self to cease. The orphan has a therapeutic built-in excuse to be protective of self and guarded of self and insists that God kind of prove himself. But the beloved child is comfortable with God simply being God because he doesn't have to prove himself. And they're okay with that because insisting that God prove himself is the way that the orphan protects themselves from the pain they experienced before and they vow to never experience again. Because that way they can never be surprised or disappointed. Well, no, I expected that. You didn't hurt me. It's kind of like in the fourth grade when you break up with a girl and a girl breaks up with you at recess and you go back and you didn't break up with me. I was going to break up with you, so it's really kind of, I broke up with you. Really? What are you doing right now? But the orphan is so guarded that he can never be free. He can never, the song you referenced, it's a holy thing to be wild and free. It's just like, oh, yeah. The orphan is like, no, I am on guard.
How do orphans, I don't know if the verb in this, get broken or get, how do they get free of that?
It helps in who you marry.
Okay.
If you marry someone that looks at you and says, I'm not going anywhere, and you and I both know what you said is not only is it not true, but it's not necessary. And then you're like, but yeah, you don't have to be married yet, but you experience your way out of that because so many people have promised, and I wish this weren't true, but it happens, and I don't even try it. It happens. People will say the littlest thing like, "I'm going to bring you a pen tomorrow," and my first thought is, "Yeah, we'll see." And tomorrow comes, and I'm aware.
The clock?
I'm not watching the clock, but I don't have to think about it.
Okay.
It is such a muscle. I don't have to. It's reflexive in me. And at the end of the day, I just go, okay, you're in that category with all those other people.
Yeah.
You're just like Leon. Now, when Marcy and I first got married, I would say, hey, babe, would you put on some coffee? Oh, yeah, I'd be glad to. 30 minutes later, I'd go in the kitchen, and I'd be like, what are you? Oh, you're just like Leon. That's my dad. You're going to abandon me too? I can't rely on you. And she goes, I just forgot. I walked in here, and I was like, oh, I forgot to load the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, don't make excuses for the fact that I can't count on you. Why is that my fault? I think a lot of marriages, a woman is married to, and women can be orphans. It's not just a man thing. But I don't ask people to tell me that they're going to do something for me.
Yeah.
And so when they don't, I don't even pick them up. I just slide them over there in that category. And I'm polite about it. But and my wife is like, why you don't have to do that? I'm like, you have no idea how stupid what you just said is. You don't have to do that. That's the only way you survive. When you're just, there's primary care relationships and secondary care relationships. And a primary relationship is God, your parents, your siblings, your spouse. and your kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it.
Mm-hmm.
You experience abandonment. One of those people abandons you, fails you. You look at all your secondary relationships through a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
And all these people have the opportunity to prove themselves.
Right.
But when they prove to be inconsistent, don't blame me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just say, well, I didn't tell the person to tell me they were going to do something. And my wife's like, but tragically, an orphan has that same posture towards God. I'm thinking of a man right now that
Mm-hmm.
he shows up around here about once every 3 years
Mm-hmm.
for about 3 Sundays. I'm just trying to make a go of it. You ought to be proud of me. And I'm like, trying to make a go of it.
Mm-hmm.
But so traumatized by
Yeah.
his first wife that he's not going to trust anybody.
Yeah.
And it's Dan Allender was right. He's the one that coined the categories:
Mm-hmm.
the orphan, the alien, the widow, and the stranger.
Yeah.
And when you know what you are, it's almost predictable. Like we'll be somewhere and somebody will say, "Hey, I'm gonna blah blah blah," and Marcia just reached on the table and put her hand on my leg and just squeezed it, and she's like, I mean, I know he meant it. I know he meant well. I know he meant. And I don't hold it against people. Like I don't have a list of people on my desk that says, this person said they're going to bring me a candy bar on Tuesday. They didn't. And by God, I want my pound of flesh.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you get your leg cut off, they call it a phantom pain. You're in the hospital. Like, my leg is killing me. There's no leg down there. It's a phantom pain, but it's a pain nonetheless. It's like, and I just smirk and Marcia, I know. You didn't tell them to promise you something.
Yeah.
I didn't. So why are you coming at me?
Yeah. What you're making me think of is, and there may be many of these things, is another pattern of an orphan mindset that I'm just not going to presume on anybody.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, and so I'm not going to ask anything big. I'm going to assume you can't do anything big. So then that translates to, I'm not going to ask God for big things.
Yeah. I can't trust you. I'm going to trust me.
Yeah.
The trust me muscle gets so exercised and so big. I'll give you an example from the Varsity. You want to hear how depraved my orphan is?
Okay.
Ian Weber. He and Annie are crushing it out here in our shoot ministry.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they're part of the team. I said to Ian, hey, at 10:15, light the candles. At 10:10, I look around and he's, in a conversation with somebody and it's great, blah, 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 blah. 10:13, I glance back over. He's still talking. I'm like, hey, son, you need to be on them candles. And finally, I walked around behind him and just kind of pointed. But I was like, what are you doing? I mean, I'm getting not incensed, but just like, can you not? Ian's doing nothing wrong.
Is your response internally too big at that point?
I don't let it.
Okay.
I'm aware of
Okay.
it. That's why I go and just kind of get behind him and say something.
That's how you fight your flesh. You have to be aware of what's going on.
I usually just nobly go light the candles myself.
Okay.
See there? Yeah, that trust me muscle just flexes. And now I'm just like, hey, but today I said something and said, hey guys, y'all, you got a job your task at the Varsity is constant. I love Mike's response. He goes, I don't know, I was doing my job. He didn't say it like that, but that's what he said. I didn't know who wasn't doing their job because I was doing my job. I was taking pictures.
My job wasn't watching everybody do their job.
Yeah. Okay. But I have to be careful sometimes because with the staff, I'm like, hey man, you had a job to do. Why didn't you do your job? And I jokingly say, hey, don't remind me. Don't remind me I can do this without you. I don't want to do it without him. I just think, but that trust me muscle is so developed.
Yeah.
It's reflexive. It just, I tell you, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's like I had a boss. He would tell you how to do something, and then he'd show you how to use a piece of machinery, and he would do the whole job while he was showing you how to do it. That's how you do it. Well, okay, but I never learned.
Right.
And you have to ask you. Here's how you know you have a little bit of orphan spirit in you. Do people around you, are they given the chance to learn from you?
Okay. Will you slow down to their pace of, okay,
and their inconsistency.
You do it wrong. I show you again.
Yeah. And I don't shame you.
Right.
You chuckle at yourself on the inside because I'm looking at Ian and I'm going, and again, Ian did nothing wrong, but I'm just like, hey son, it is 10:16. What are you doing? And my wife is like, babe, it is such a strict sense of justice in you. And she would go, just shut up. The candles, who cares? No, you said you were going to light these candles.
Right.
Light the candles.
That was a contract.
Yeah, it was verbal and binding. But I think a lot of people don't understand why their husband takes things so personally. And the gospel redeems you of that. So if you don't have the gospel, if you're married to an orphan, it's tough.
How should kids hear their parents pray.
Mm.
I think, okay, it's one thing, Orphan, but like, if I'm passing this on, unintentionally to my children, whether they're little or they're grown, how should they hear parents pray?
I think they should hear you pray authentically, relationally, and consistently. I think kids don't know how to pray big and free
Mm-hmm.
because their parents say the same thing. At supper,
Mhm.
God's great, God's good. Thanks for this food and the hands that prepared it. Blah blah blah. You should pray in such a way. I just think of Jesus in the garden. I mean, of course, we couldn't be there, but I think when he takes, I think it was Peter and John
Mhm.
a little further away
Yep.
in the garden,
Yep.
and then he says, "If it be possible, let this cup pass from me." I just picture them with their heads bowed, and all of a sudden they're like, they look at each other like, "What did you say?" Like he's been telling us this is going to happen. Now
Yeah.
he's reneging on the deal.
Yeah.
But your kids should every once in a while be like, not to be shocking,
Mm-hmm.
but to be, I'm inviting you into an authentic relationship with God.
Yeah.
I remember working at a summer camp called Brookhaven years ago, and something tragic happened. And one of the guys on staff prayed, and I'd been a Christian like 14 months.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe a year, 12 months, something like that. And the guy said, God, I'm so mad. I wish you were a man so I could fight you tonight. You meet me out behind the laundromat. And I remember everybody had their heads bowed, and I was giving it this, looking around like, well, again, I've been a Christian a year.
Yeah.
I was like peeking, like, is he going to get zapped by a lightning bolt?
Right.
But I mean, I remember the veins in his head where he was
Yeah.
mad. And probably 2 hours later, I said, "Hey, where's Sarge?" And they said, "Oh, he's out by the laundromat." And I was like, "Oh, he went to the OK Corral to have a showdown with God." And I went out there, was a butane and propane tank, looks like
Yeah.
a Tylenol capsule, big
Yeah.
silver thing. And he was just leaning against it, and he goes, I'm just mad. I'm not being disrespectful again." And I was like, "Hey, because I became a Christian, started going to First Baptist Church in my old town, and the prayers were all non-threatening,
Mm-hmm.
and so they just weren't authentic. They weren't. I think your kids should hear you say, "Lord, thank you that marriage is where you get it sorted. You don't quit when it gets hard,
Mhm.
and we're kind of at each other's throat."
Mm-hmm.
And your kids around the table. Don't let our kids think that this is not realistic. I mean,
Yeah.
people say, "I never saw my parents fight." I don't think you should fight in front of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you should pray authentically in front of them
Yeah.
because it gives space for their humanity, space for their depravity,
Mhm.
space for their questions. That's what Ross did yesterday. He just kind of gave
Right.
space
Right.
and just kind of said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm going to unsnap my pants after Thanksgiving and let my gut hang out. I ate too much. I got a food baby going here." And people were unsnapping their pants all
Right.
around me. It's like,
Right.
oh, people are talking, but you should pray. Parents should pray in such a way that their kids are. This is a weird word. Your kids kind of marvel that God lets you talk to him like
Mhm.
that, and
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
not in a mold. My dad
Right.
put God in play, but no.
Right.
No, okay, so God's not afraid of my big emotions either.
Right. Is there a sense where being angry to the glory of God is engaging Him versus the glory of me is I run off and sulk? The story you told, oh, this guy's engaging God so much so I'm actually going to walk out here and I'm not done huffing and puffing and feeling.
Yeah, he just got away from all of us,
Yeah.
and he was out there. I mean, with his arms folded, just leaning there, and he goes, "I'm mad that happened,
Mhm.
and God's ways are higher than my ways." And the way he said it, I just assumed, well, that's in the Bible somewhere.
Right.
I had no idea.
Right.
And the next day at breakfast, I was like, "Hey, you said, what do you mean God's
Yeah.
ways are higher?" And they all knew. Neil's been a Christian
Right.
like 10 minutes. They all grew up in church, and they're like, "Oh, that's in Isaiah 55." And I said, "Oh, okay, thank you. What does it mean?"
Mhm.
And that guy, Sarge, he said, "It just means God's smarter than us. On your best day, God's plan is bigger and better than yours, and so get over yourself and repent." I want to sit by him at lunch.
Right.
All these other people are like, "Oh, I sing in the choir." I'm like,
Right.
that guy's, yeah.
So authentic words are, this is what we should say more. Are there words we need to retire? Are there things we need to say less?
Yeah, any phrase that's borrowed.
Okay.
Like if
Yeah.
if mom and dad, you heard somebody say something, or some famous preacher prayed something, and your kids hear it come out of it's like watching your parents rap at a karaoke.
If they're not rappers.
Yeah. I mean, even if they are, you don't want to see it. But yeah, it'd be like going to your friends clowning your skull. Hey, I went to bar the other night and it was karaoke, and your mom got up
Yeah.
and sang Radar Love by
Yeah.
Golden Earring. And they're like, no, your dad was doing the voiceover.
Right.
Somewhere in a lonely motel room, a man has realized his eternal destiny has turned his back on him. It's 2 a.m. And then your mom, dum, 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 dum. We should dance to that at the club. Anyway, yeah, but prayer shouldn't sound like karaoke.
Yeah.
A cheap,
Yep.
bad vocal version of the real thing.
It should always be an original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it should just be, you should be so overwhelmed with emotion. You're like, oh, Jesus, once again, we're so rich, we have leftovers, so we're not going to
Yeah.
whine around this table about eating this twice. We
Yeah.
got so much. Your kids get calibrated by that.
Yeah. You're making me think. In college, I had a pastor, and that had us over at dinner at his house one night, and you go, okay, let's pray. So we're silent, and he goes, takes in a big breath, goes, oh, this smells delicious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amen. I'm like,
Amen.
And his-
Yay for him.
and his
His
wife
tribe
goes-
increased.
his wife goes, I hate when you do stuff like that. I'm like, what's happening? My surrogate mom and dad are fighting. Is
Yeah.
this okay to do? But I'm like, oh yeah, that was the most authentic thing you
Yeah.
could have done at that moment.
Yeah. Just that. Just authentic isn't, that can be like pushed to this extreme
Sure,
where
sure.
you're manufactured authenticity.
Right.
But no. And sometimes you should call your 15-year-old daughter and they're like, "No, I'm mad at Jesus right now." Ross told me, he said, "I pray to Jesus, but I'm not talking to God." And I said, "Well, let's talk about your theology of the Trinity some other time. There's 3 in 1, but okay." But yeah, I think that's how kids
Yeah.
would be more steeped in prayer, in effectual, fervent prayer, like that avails much, as James says.
Yeah.
If they heard it around their table.
Mhm.
And in their bedroom, when their dad goes in and says, "Hey,
Yeah.
you seem to be kind of sideways with everybody in the world.
Mhm.
What's going on? I want to pray for you."
Mhm. That kind of effectual, fervent, authentic prayer, that doesn't have to be learned, and that there aren't phrases you got to learn. That's
No.
already in you,
That's in you.
and so you already have access to that language with God.
Yeah, Jesus said, "If anybody tastes this water I give," in John 7, it'll become in them a well
Mhm.
springing up to eternal life.
Yeah.
Just let that well spring up.
On the same sermon, under How to Pray Big and Free, one of the points, I have a question coming. You said this. You said, now prayer is a demonstration of what you believe.
Oh, that's so
So-
good. Who said
so-
that again?
Don't borrow it in your prayers, boys and girls. Prayer is a demonstration of what you believe.
Yes.
So knowing what you need before you ask. And you said this. You said, do you acknowledge more than you ask? And I thought, okay, I think I know where you're at, but
Mhm.
I want this to sink into us. And so, how is acknowledging different than just asking?
Yeah, well, yeah. First of all, you have to embrace that little statement in there. He says, "For your Father knows what you need before
Mhm.
you ask Him." This is right before the Lord's Prayer part kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
Because He says, "For your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." And then, because that's true, the next phrase says this: "Pray then like this."
Mm-hmm.
Pray then. It should say, then, what we'd say is
Mhm.
then, because that's true, pray like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe that your Father knows what you need before you ask Him,
Yeah.
how are you going to pray?
Mm-hmm.
That's the real question.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to pray, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name."
Mm-hmm.
Hallowed, your name. I'm going to live in such a way that my life sets apart. It hallows the name of God.
Mhm.
People see the character of God in me, and so they cannot not believe in God because they have algebra and English 3 with me, and we swim on the swim team.
Mhm.
And they may not believe anything I believe.
Yeah.
But they're like, man, there's something about that. And so asking. I'm not saying we never should ask, but we should acknowledge more than I say it like this: the more you acknowledge, the
Mhm.
less you have to ask.
Mhm.
Lord, you know my need, and I know you know my need, and I know that you can do something about it. You want to do something about it? You're my dad. You're my
Mhm.
father.
Mhm.
Okay. I think I told the story somewhere along here about going to HEB with my youngest Sophie, and I wasn't clowning on her. She had in her head I said, "You got a list?" She goes, "I got some things on my phone, but I kind of know
Mhm.
what I want." And we just went up and down every aisle, and
Mhm.
she's just chunking stuff, and and it all comes together. I'm going to make this, and I'm like, great. And I'm just pushing along, and for me, I'm at one point I got a little weepy because I'm like, I want to be towards you the way she is towards me.
Mm.
All she said
Mhm.
was at dinner. I said, "Is there anything you need to do? Well, I need to go to HEB, Dad."
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, I need to go to HEB, Dad, when we're done." "Okay." And because I'm her dad, she's like, I've acknowledged this is my dad.
Yeah.
And I know what that means for me. And I know what that means for me. I don't begrudge that at all. I'm like, man, especially coming from someone that had a dad that didn't do that. It's like, I'm not passing that on to my kids. And so her acknowledgement was the use of the word dad.
Yeah.
My dad's here. He's my dad. I'm going to give him an opportunity to be my dad. And sometimes I think we're so asky. We don't give God the opportunity to be our dad. Hey, just acknowledge and just let me be your dad. Because it's just asking, and God, and God. I'm like, oh, man.
How does someone make a shift? Like right now they're listening. Okay, the next time I have some kind of organized time with God, I want to shift from asking to acknowledging. Not meaning I want to move my weight some. How do they do that? What the first
I think you
step?
have to embrace I don't want this to sound like a zinger or cold or whatever. Asking doesn't engage the heart of God. It reveals the heart of the one asking.
Okay.
And I think we've been taught almost that asking reveal, I'm raw and real. I'm just coming boldly before the throne so I can obtain mercy in my time. You're not asking for mercy. You're asking for stuff. But I think asking reveals the heart. It doesn't engage the heart of God. It reveals the heart of the one asking. And so, but I think acknowledgement does the exact opposite. I think acknowledgement reveals our heart in a good way. And that engages the heart of God. Just to say, hey, I'm not like the Pharisees who think by their many words are going to be heard.
Yeah.
And God, and by the way, I'm 16 and my friends all got cars and I don't have one. And or if I'm 11 or 12, and my friends got cell phones, and and my parents and get my parents, and my stepmom's a jerk, and blah, blah, blah. If you could just say, Lord, everything I need, my Father has it, and I don't want to say anything in this time where you and I are communing that's going to make it act like I don't believe that, and that's not true, because it is everything I need. Everything I need. I would say to the 12-year-old who's whining about not getting a cell phone, let your stepmom walk by and hear you singing in your pajamas, everything I need. My Father has it. My Father has it. It's like every single time the Lord will provide. And then she goes and crosses in bed with your dad and is like, hey, Phoebe's singing something about everything I need. My Father has it. Do we need to go check her temperature? Is she having religious illusions of grandeur?
Right.
No, she's just reminding herself.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying don't ask, but if you read the prayers in the Bible, there's a lot of it, like the believer's prayer, Acts 4, about verse 23, where Peter and John get released after getting the snot beat out of them.
Yep.
And they basically said, Lord, consider their threats and enable your servants to speak your word. They didn't say, make them stop giving us a beating. No, consider their threats and then enable your servants to speak the word boldly. Because by your hand, and it's just a hit. And then at the very end, they ask for one thing. And Dr. Fish taught me this when I was in seminary. You gaze at God and you glance at your problem. That's what you see in Scripture. People, the bulk of their prayer, because their thing is, because they went into some Old Testament redemptive history, by the hand of your servant David, blah, blah, blah. What's this got to do with we just got the snot beat out of us? We suffered religious persecution. Somebody get Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer, by God, we got rights. Nope, they just said, really, they were reminding themselves, hey, God has worked redemptively in history, and and at the very end, boop, they glance at the problem. Because the more you gaze at God, the less you need to look at the problem, because the problem becomes proportional in the shadow of God and God's nature. It's just like, okay. I was watching SportsCenter last night.
That's still on?
And
Was Van Pelt, is that why? It's the only person I still know on there, Scott Van Pelt?
Yeah, Scott Van SVP, yes. And there's a low post player, I think for the Iowa State women's basketball. She's kind of heavy set, but she dominates.
Thunder.
And it's just like, I own you, and I'll be eating your dessert in prison, and you bring me your cigarettes and put them on my tape, my right here next to Andy Dufresne in red. And I just think, she's not asking for permission. She's just dominating. And I just thought, this kind of authority, just that's free, this is what it looks like.
So I have in my mind a couple of hypotheticals that are related, where think of a parent who they have a kid who they want to make a team or get a role in a play, or maybe someone a promotion at work, or whatever, what have you, or a job at all. And so I think, can it be where the need is what's intense in me? That helps me direct me. Okay, what am I really or here? Oh, I've come to the end of trusting in me. Where can it move me to some kind of doctrine or some kind of, I don't want to get over sophisticated here, but how can we help people move from, okay, needs what I see first, and now this moves me to God's character or
when
acknowledgement.
we feel a need, and I may not answer it directly, so ask it differently if I don't. When we feel a need, we immediately seek relief.
Okay.
We don't seek understanding. That is not human nature. It is, I want relief from this need.
Yeah.
Instead of, like I ask people in counseling a lot, what do you feel like God's inviting you to now that you know this news?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, what? And I'm like, no, I can't listen for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is God inviting me to? Because we are not comforted by God's nature. In a weird way, we're comforted by our need.
Mm.
We're comforted by saying to anybody who will listen, like our hair's on fire. And I remember years ago, my friend Dave Busby, he was dying of cystic fibrosis. And people come up to him and, I was pushing him in a wheelchair at a conference, and Lay's like, oh, Dave, have you tried coffee enemas? And she knelt down and gave like a 5-minute infomercial on coffee enemas.
I think I said my coffee, but no, I think I'm good. Yeah, thank you very much for that.
And Dave Busby just graciously patted her hand and said, you know what, sister? I've been healed and I need to be healed. And he looked at me and goes, let's go. And I pushed him on down the way. But yeah, I just think when it's need versus nature, we're pretty moored to our need.
Yeah.
But our need is always going to feel bigger until we understand God's nature.
Yeah.
Until we, my wife said this the other day. She said, oh, I'm indestructible until God's done with me and my time's up here. I was like,
yeah,
okay. She's got a point there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true of all of us.
Otherwise, the whole thing about not a hair can fall from your head. That doesn't mean anything otherwise.
All of my days were formed before one of them came to be.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's not fatalism. That ought to make you fearless.
Yeah.
That mean I'm going to run ahead in the middle of the highway and jump in front of a car to prove something. No, right. I'm not, but I'm not going to be ruled by fear.
Right. And so this relates to the first thing we talked about. I have in my mind the image of an old Mario game where Mario hits the star. Now he's invincible for however many seconds, but nothing can happen to him. He hit a spike. Nothing happens to him. That you don't have to be afraid in this one minor.
Yeah, and in the Gospels, one of the epistles, he talks about, that people think it's strange that they plunge into this flood of dissipation, and they think it's strange that you don't join them. People should see us live and think there's some things about you that are strange. Mm-hmm. There's something, like I have a friend that's like, man, why don't you guys buy a bigger house? You bought one house and that's it. I'm not a martyr or anything. Mm-hmm. Just maybe if I live more simply, I can bless other people. Yeah, but I mean, you got to keep up a reputation. And I just says who? Mm-hmm. What page is that on? Mm-hmm. 'Cause I don't find it in the book. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't disparage anybody for what they live. I don't care. But again, to embrace that I'm invincible and that my Father's nature it calibrates my need. Yeah. Or if it doesn't, then my need distorts my Father's nature.
If it's,
It just distorts it. See, here's the thing. This just popped in my head, so it must be the Holy Spirit. Remember Megan Rapinoe, the lesbian soccer player? Oh, yeah. Her last game, she hurt her knee, and she said afterwards, this proves there's not a God. Mm. And I just thought.
Or the opposite. Yeah.
I just thought, wow, you think a lot of yourself. Mm. Because they're on Sports Center, which I watch every night. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, this proves there's not a God. That you got hurt in a soccer game, but I don't think he's that tenuous. I don't think his existence teeters in the balance. Mm-hmm. A bunch of soccer players that God's picking on this. Mm-hmm. No. But again, My need
Yeah.
distorts the nature of God.
Yeah.
And my need is to go out on top and be carried off the field because it's over.
Right.
No more limelight. Oh, my time in the limelight got cut short.
Yeah.
Oh, the humanity. Or maybe you got all your eggs in the wrong basket.
Mm-hmm. Wrong basket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of my fame,
Yeah.
my athletic prowess.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you say the thing before about the gaze and glance.
Yes.
It's gaze on God's character.
Yes.
God, glance at your need.
At your problem, at your need. That's what you see in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Moses. God relents of what he was going to do because Moses reminded him, hey, by the way, this is going to make you look bad. All these surrounding nations are going to think you brought him out here in the wilderness just to kill him. And God said, you know what? You're right. Thank you for reminding me how awesome I am. I'm going to just do the awesome thing because I'm awesome. And people just, I wish you wouldn't do that. Oh, God's that way.
Mm.
God is more moved by his nature than your need. I promise you.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that's where people, I'm done, Neil. Okay.
Yeah.
But you think a lot. If you think God is more moved by your need than his nature, you've not read the Bible. I'm sorry.
We're all doing what she did, what Megan did.
Oh yes.
Yeah. We just we don't have the opportunity in this wild. It's our opportunity is whatever our current stage is. But we do the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. Can you imagine if Megan Rapinoe would have said, you know what? God's just teaching me what I can live without. Thank you.
It might not be on SportsCenter.
No, I think it would.
Okay.
I think it would be like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, what you're talking about, Willis?
Right.
Because God
Mm-hmm.
is me getting all my dreams, me getting everything I want, me getting everything, me getting more likes on socials. That's God. And so if that doesn't happen, there can't be a God. God cannot exist because I will not allow God to exist that doesn't glorify me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to me about me just pouring my life out to glorify him. That is, that's cosmic child abuse. Okay.
And when we've done that, what we've done is we've replaced God with us.
Yes.
We just taken a picture of us and put on a photo of him and say, hey, that's
Yeah. I don't think we replaced God with us. I don't think we ever replaced us with God.
Okay, and that's the crucial problem.
That's human nature.
Yeah.
We are born idolaters.
Yeah.
Calvin was right. John Calvin said the heart is an idol factory. It manufactures idols.
Right.
And our favorite idol is ourself. It's a little 10-inch. My favorite idol is a little 10-inch replica of Neil that I want to put on the table in front of me and go, oh, yes, you deserve everything. But your heart is an idol factory.
Yeah.
Your heart generates offense that justifies your excess. I'm offended. I'm dysregulated by this offense. I need a little shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm offended by my wife's lack of availability to me. I'm dysregulated. I need to sneak a little peek at something over here on this website. Your heart just generates these idols that keep you sinning.
Yeah. Our last question for this episode. Well, this is from the following week.
Talk about idols.
Well, I mean, we'll probably get back to it. This is Matthew 6, 16 to 18, and this is the sermon on the freedom of fasting. And so you said there's a mercy from God that you only get to see in fasting.
Yes. Yes.
So say a little more about.
What's the question, Blake Hardcastle?
And then we're done. Isn't it obvious, everybody?
Fasting for the Old Testament. Why do you even talk about that? Because it's here in the New.
Right. And so why does it only come in fasting? This mercy, this.
It's. I know that sounds, like, well, what? In fasting, here's why it only comes in fasting, because in fasting, you there's this mercy, this merciful experience where you realize, okay, imagine this: the Bible rule is true. When I'm weak, I really am strong. When I'm physically weak, I'm really strong spiritually. I'm really dialed in. I'm crisp on the spiritual, in the spiritual. And over time, if you give yourself the experience of fasting habitually, over time, it changes what you trust in.
Okay.
Some trust in horses, some trust in chariots, but we will trust in the name of the Lord our God. You don't trust. It's the old hymn that says, "The arm of flesh will fail you. You dare not trust your own." And fasting reduces you to this point. I remember being in college, and I was fasting, and I just thought, I work out, so I went down in the basement of our dorm and was working out, and the baseball team came in. I was like, I need to get out of here. And I hadn't got to do bench press yet, free weights.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wasn't that much on there.
Mm-hmm.
And right when I unracked it, I thought, oh, gee whiz, I haven't eaten in a while. It's really heavy. And they all started snickering. And one of them, I heard him say, I thought McClendon was strong. I was so embarrassed. I was like, dang you, fasting. You're making me look bad.
That did some of you, part of you go, hey, guys, this is my fasting lift.
Yeah. I wanted to push it. I wanted to push it up. I said, hey, let me explain to everybody what's happening right now. I've been fasting, unlike you drunken baseball players, you womanizing, carousing, uncircumcised Philistines. I fast. But in a nanosecond, I just chuckled at myself because I thought, that's what I want to do right now. Mm-hmm. I want to get up and set the record straight because I don't want you to go and tell everybody, oh, he's not very strong. He couldn't even, there was like 180 on it. He couldn't get it. I got it off there, and when I started down with it, I was like, I'm feeling this now. I better arch my back. And instead of 10, I was just like, I got it back up there, and a couple of them talking like, you all right, man? You all right? And every fiber of my being, I wanted to go, hey,
my shoulder,
I wanted to go, hey, let me explain why it looks like I'm weak. And the Holy Spirit's like, why you got to explain that? Why you got to explain that? And I'd like to say I was joyful at that realization. I wasn't. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, man, you guys can have it. And I walked out. Mm-hmm. And I so wanted to go back and manage their impression of me. Mm-hmm. Hey, just want you to know this is why. Or probably 3 days later, there was some guys down there. I wasn't even going to work out that day. And I went, by God, I'm going to show you. Let me get it turned in here.
I've eaten today. Yeah.
I've been eating the past couple of days. I'm yoked and ready now. But I just chuckled at myself. And I just thought, she's alive. Mm-hmm. My inner whore still alive. Yeah. she wants to. Yeah. Oh, let me explain.
Yeah.
But I just walked out and let it hang in the air, and it was one of my earliest experiences with just dying. Just that last little piece of flesh, just kind of dying. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'd see them in the cafeteria, baseball, because they had practice, and I'll come late.
Yeah.
And I found myself even finding a way to work into the conversation half a semester later. Hey, remember that time? And I was just like, what's my deal? I'm psychotic and crazy. No, that's your flesh. But that's what I mean. Yeah. It's mercy that when you finally get to embrace, when I'm weak, I'm strong. Mm-hmm. Okay, y'all can think whatever you want. Mm-hmm. It's easy when you're 61, but when you're 20.
Yeah, you're expected to be weaker at 61 than 20.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's easier to live with people not knowing what's really happening. Mm-hmm. But when you're 20, oh my gosh, I can't live it. Hey man, I can hold my own here. Mm-hmm. I'm good. But that's what I mean. It's a severe mercy. It only comes in fasting because fasting reveals what controls us. Mm-hmm. If the fear of man controls you, or the approval of man is important to you, well, when you fast, that gets exposed. Mm-hmm. And that was just a little bitty, hey, we're going to get in the furnace today. We're going to burn this off. But I read these lyrics the other day, and I just thought, the flames will not hurt you. I read the hymnal a lot. That's my confession. Yeah. The flames will not hurt you. I only design your dross to consume and your gold to refine. That's what happened that day in the basement of Fagan Hall at East Texas Baptist University, where we had free weights set up. He was just
Christian
saying,
school. It happened. Yeah.
He was just saying, hey, the flames aren't going to hurt you. Yeah. My only design is your draw. This wanting to explain to people, this is your dross. Mm-hmm. That's the impurities in the silver. Mm-hmm. Your dross to and your gold to refine. Hey, this is good.
There are things that happen to us that make us weak, but this is one of the few things that we have control over.
Yes.
Most of the things that happen to us that weaken us, we don't have control over.
You have
we
to
didn't
believe
see them.
that somebody else is better at running the world to subject yourself to weakness.
Yeah.
And fasting is where you subject yourself to weakness, and you expose yourself to real strength.
Mm-hmm. That you don't get as much or any access to without it.
No. Well, there's that some translations include it, some don't.
Mhm.
This little part where Jesus, the disciples, like, hey, we tried to cast out this demon. Jesus said, this kind of only comes out by prayer and fasting.
And fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a spiritual strength that comes because when God strips you of all your comforts, food, oh, this is so good, and food is comfort.
Yeah.
Then we get to see, okay, and who or what else do you find comfort? Is this comforting for you that you're weak and yet I'm strong? Oh, I'm great with that. Okay.
And so I guess our flesh can do anything like this. Fasting, what we don't want to do is, okay, here's a way for me to really get my need. Here's another way for me to ask spiritually. Oh, I'm going to fast. Versus, here's a way for me to force myself to gaze on God.
Fasting has become a means to achievement.
Okay, say more about that.
It's not a means of understanding.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a means of achievement. It's hey, it's transactional. Hey, I'm going to fast, and I'm fasting for breakthrough. Says who? Because if I say to God, I'm fasting for breakthrough, then if I don't get breakthrough, what? Does fast not count? Or is this me saying, hey, God, I'm fasting for breakthrough, so breakthrough needs to happen? How about I'm fasting because I have to beat my body and make it my slave? After I preach to others, I might be disqualified. If I don't beat my body and subdue its natural inclinations, it won't be good for me. But yeah, fasting is it's one of those things that I'll say it like this, because people ask sometimes, well, is there a prescription how you should fast, when, and about? No, I mean, back then the Pharisees fasted on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe. So Christians fasted on Wednesday and Friday. We're not gonna be like you people. But I'll just say this: one thing that affects how seldom we fast is that we don't miss the bridegroom.
Okay.
And we don't long for his appearing. Jesus said, they said, hey, the Pharisees and the disciples of John the Baptist, they fast, but your guys, they're plucking grain off on the Sabbath, and these guys, a bunch of rule breakers, and Jesus is like, this is beautiful. Jesus is like, I'm still here. It's hard to miss me when I'm here because I'm so awesome.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm here, but when I'm gone, they'll fast.
Yeah.
But the bridegroom's here. This is a party, right? We're feasting. We're not fasting now, but when I'm gone, they'll fast. Well, he's gone now. And if we got to embrace that he's gone, and we don't long for his appearing. And so that's why we don't fast. Because Jesus said, when I'm gone, these people are going to be so sad. They're going to fast. Oh, yeah. And people that don't fast, they don't think about the bridegroom very much. Fasting is all about them. You want me to not eat for a day or 4? Yeah, you get up and you can taste your breath. You're like, I need to brush my teeth. But yeah, it just, the Bible uses that language, and long for his appearing.
Is fasting one of the ways we can stop trying to make this life heaven? This life full, and I want to make this as much of a party as possible, versus the party's really coming later.
I'll just say this to everybody who hears this podcast. Go home the day you hear this, look around your house, and especially your garage and your attic, and look for stuff that you haven't touched in a year. Now, you should be thinking, why are you telling me that right now? Yeah, because it's that kind of stuff, that kind of excess that keeps you moored to this world. And fasting kind of frees you up and sets you free to where you're like, I think there's a thin line between being generous and not being moored to this world. When people are not moored to this world, they're like, oh, yeah, here, take that. You can have my Diet Mountain Dew. I'm almost done with it. But yeah, people that fast, it's that sense of not achievement, but understanding. And the more they fast, the more they understand. And they're the people that engage you in weird ways where you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
That came from weakening your flesh to strengthen your spirit.
Yeah.
Those cats just think differently.
Is it a condemnation on us as Christians of the church that non-Christians would practice fasting and in God's common grace experience some things that because we don't engage it, we don't experience?
I'll just ask you the simple question. Have you heard these 2 words put together in a sentence in the past 3 years? Intermittent fasting.
almost daily.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so see, the world has taken what the church forsook
Mm-hmm.
and consumed it upon their lust.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Mhm.
And not a political or it's
Yeah.
just I don't watch late night. But he lost a bunch of weight, and he said, "What?" And he said, many people asked, "I do the shots." No, I did intermittent. This is before GLP-1s came in.
Mm-hmm.
I did intermittent fasting, and he said, and I must say, it's made me think differently about my life.
Hmm.
This is not Augustine.
Right.
This is not John the Baptist.
Right.
This is Donald Trump hating Jimmy Kimmel.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
And at that point, I'll drop the mic.
Well, and we'll rest it there. Well, thank you for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube watching us, if you don't want to miss one of these come out, subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to it. If someone came to mind during this, you thought, ooh, this said what I have been trying to say, or this answers the question they've been asking, send them a link, invite them to listen. If you participate in our weekly worship service, you're part of our congregation, and you think, hold on a second, I didn't catch that. He went too fast. That didn't make sense.
No,
Email me, blake@grandparkway.org, and I'll be glad to ask Neil this next time we circle back.